Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Now from the Beeble Brothers, and today I'm here with another champion guide playing Yasuo, who is probably one of the most, well, in my opinion, the most fun and just pretty strong champions around. Once you get to know him, he's just so fun and it's so easy to carry games with him. So this is my guide showing how you should play him. So to start off, starting items, I would say Adoran's Blade and a health pot. Just gives you a bit of lifesteal, health, AD, and yeah, just, you know, good in lane, kind of standard. And I also start off with my E in lane. It depends who I come up against. If I'm against a melee, I will usually start my Q, and if I'm against a someone who's ranged, like this Lux who I'm up against, I'll start E just so I can poke them better. And yeah, so that was really bad play from Wukong. He came in for a gank as soon as I had my third charge of my Q up to use my tornado, and he came in on low health, and that was an easy kill. Very bad play from him. But so what you want to do with Yasuo is you sort of use your E to go in and harass down him, and then as soon as he's about to put damage back onto you, you just use your E on another minion to get out of there. So that's sort of how you play in laning phase. You want to sort of harass. It's on Yasuo, I guess, really. So yeah, you want to start off with definitely start Q and probably take Ignite as your Exhaust as your summoner spell. In this game, why I took Ignite. And the first item you will be build. Your first full item that you want is a static shiv. Now, obviously on Yasuo, you want that 100% crit chance, so you do want to build 5% crit in your runes, just so it doubles to make 10%, and then you get 90% crit overall, which means 90 plus 10 is 100, so you get 100% crit chance. And yeah, so the static shiv gives you, I believe, 20, which is double to 40 or something like that. And Infinity Edge gives you 25, which is another item you'll be building, which adds up to 50, so that's 90. Yeah, so static shiv is just a really good item, and it's also good for wave clear as well. And it's just good for harassing out the opponent, to be honest, because when, you know, you're just doing a trade and they're like, oh yeah, I've got this, and then you just get a static shiv proc, and it's very, very strong. So right here I get into a little bit of Lux, force a flash, and just get out of my E. So you know, good, forcing the flash, it's always helpful. And to be honest, I'm winning this lane pretty badly in CS and overall, but I had no clue why. But this Lux clearly, like, main support and first pick support or something like that, because she went, well, I don't know why, even if you main support you would take Spellthief's Edge, but anyway, this was stupid for me. I knew I had backup coming, but I had no vision there, and I just get completely doved on, so that was really bad play from me. But Warwick does come in, so it's basically a jungle kill for jungle kill, so worth, I guess. Well, not worth, but even. So Yasuo is super easy to farm with, especially when you get static shiv. So, and don't be scared in lane to, you know, dash around with your E. And, you know, I know it, maybe if you get ganked it can be bad. Like, I think later on I go a bit too aggressive with my E charges. I don't actually have a minion to come back on, so that's unfortunate. You do have to time them right. So right here I get exhausted, and I just go back and then kill Leon and get out. So that is the beauty of Yasuo. He can turn around fights really well. Once, like, you think you're going to get him, and he's just... And yeah, that was my bad. But with Yasuo, what you have to do is you have to kite around till you get your third charge of your Q, so you can knock them up. That's kind of what you do. And then you just knock them up and ulti. That's why so many people are like, oh yeah, if you're in 1v1 with Yasuo, they just do so much damage, and you're just kiting around queuing. And then you're on really low health, and they're on about half from 2 Qs. Because with the crit chance, you do a lot of damage with your Q, especially to squishy targets, and those are mostly the only targets that are going to be able to kill you. So just kite around, third Q, use it, knock them up, ultimate Q, and they just die, and they're like, what the hell? How did that happen? Just Yasuo is so good in team fight, split pushing. That's the good thing about Yasuo. He's so diverse, and there's so many different ways you can play him. You can play him purely in team fights, or you can just split push, which is not what I did. I didn't actually split push in this game with him, so I actually ended up team fighting more, which is why for my second item I do go Infinity Edge instead of Blade of the Ruin King. You can pick up the Vampiric Scepter just before, just so you have some lifesteal, but honestly I really don't mind so I really don't care. I usually go straight out for the damage for the Infinity Edge second. It depends obviously what I do, because in this game we had Shen, so he was sort of in the side lane most of the time because he has TP and his ultimate. So he was the one kind of in the side lane most of the time. But once I did get my Blade of the Ruin King as my third item, I did then start to split push a bit against Teemo and kind of destroyed him, but yeah. So first item, as your boots, you do want to go Berserker's Greaves, just very useful. And also, every now and then on your backs, you really should get some wards. It's just very good, because Yasuo is very mobile, but if you do, you know, use your E-charges too much and you've just ruined your escape, then it is basically impossible to get out. He becomes super mobile if you have nothing to E to, so it's just very useful to put wards around so you know when they're coming, so you know when to use your E to go aggressive and when to go defensive and stuff like that, so just very useful. And yeah, so I talked about the third item, which is Blade of the Ruin King, which is just so great in so many ways. Just great lifesteal AD, and the active is super good. Just helps you win the split push duel so much better. And yeah, as the fourth item, generally I'll go Last Whisper, just because, you know, the armor penetration is very, very nice. Just helps you shred your Q's always critically strike, which is very, very good. But obviously, like, he can't be too broken, so his passive, although it increases his crit chance by 50%, it also lowers the damage that his crits do by like 25% or something like that. I'm not sure how much it is, but otherwise he would be super broken, which he was when he first came out. Like, I don't think anyone could stop him. That's why he was perma-banned in LCS, because no one wanted to play against him. And yeah, he's just a great champion. And to be honest, he doesn't really have much counters. I'd say someone like Orianna maybe counters him, but really he has no bad matchups because he can go aggressive, come out. He's just so mobile. That's the thing. And so on my team right now, it's sort of me and this Tristana who's super fed. Me and mid and bot kind of won pretty hard. And he was going to die, so he just went in for Tristana. Because there's really no escape against a Yasuo, especially once you get your Blade of the Ruin King. Like, there is no chance of escaping. Especially when a minion wave comes. You really need to use minions to your advantage to catch up to people to get away. If someone's getting away and you see a minion, just E over to it. There's most likely going to be more minions. Just use your E to catch up. It's a great way to catch up and get some more kills. So, what else to say about Yasuo? Just insanely strong. You really want to get the kills early on. I mean, he is super strong late game. Don't, like, if you don't have a good early game, don't worry. I mean, late game will come and you will destroy. So, like, there was one game I think I went like, I can't really remember, like 2-5 in laning phase. Can't remember who I was against. And by the time the game ended, we won and I was like 15-10. Just when late game comes around, it's just, no one can stop you. You're so mobile. And you just do tons. You don't need any utility, and it's also good in lane for the defense is good in lane because you can get poked out by high range champions. And runes, you want to go AD Quints. I think I go armor seals. Now this was a horrible mistake by me and Warwick. We didn't think all of them would be there, so that was very bad. But so you go AD Quints, armor seals, MR glyphs, or I don't know actually. But you take, basically in your marks you want 5% crit chance and the rest AD. So just to give you that 100% crit chance. So very, very useful. And now that I finished my Infinity Edge, once you get your statics of Infinity Edge, that's when you hit your power spike. It's basically like Tristana, to be honest, similar. Once you get your 2 core items, you start to get going. But with Yasuo, you do get going much quicker. But like you can see, me and Tristana are building the exact same items. We have the exact same kills and stuff like that. So he is just super strong, and you really don't want to. If you're the opponent, don't want to get ahead against him. And also playing against Yasuo, if you want to, you know, get good at playing against him, I would suggest definitely taking someone who can poke out good like Ziggs. But the best matchup is Orianna that I've seen, because when I've been Yasuo and I've been against Orianna, or when I've picked Orianna and been against Yasuo, the Orianna matchup does seem to win quite often. But it is about skill matchup. Like, you can have a very good Yasuo who is just dodging every single... to hit your skill shots when he's eating around everywhere. And it really does depend, because you kind of don't want to waste your shockwave as an Orianna on a Yasuo. Like, obviously you want it in the big fights. You can obviously focus Yasuo a bit, but when you're in lane, you really don't want to kind of shockwave him, just because he has so many ways of escaping, and once you knock him up, he can just easily once you knock him, he can easily turn it around. Like, shockwave early game doesn't do too much damage. It's just very good for utility, sort of in team fights. It's only late game where shockwave starts to properly hurt and give the utility that it does. So that's why shockwave is such a strong spell, and Orianna is such a strong pick. Honestly, if I was in a blind matchup, I would rather pick, even though I kind of main Yasuo, I'd rather pick Orianna in a blind matchup where I don't know who they're picking, just because she's so safe. You don't... Now this is turning into an Orianna guide, but she can beat anyone in lane, no matter how good or bad you are, really. She's very easy to play and just gives a lot of utility to the team. And it is sort of like Yasuo, to be honest. He does give great utility to the team with his wind wall. Just, he can stop so many spells with it. Like, the amount of times that, you know, if you have good reactions, you know, something like a Lux or a Leona, they can, you know, Leona's about to Zenith Blade onto you, just wind wall it, Blitz about to grab you, wind wall it. There's so many things, and like Lux is binding, wind wall it. There's so many things you can wind wall. You can when your team's taking a turret, you can just wind wall off the turret, and you just get free shots on the turret, and they can't do anything because they can't hit you. And it's same with defending. You can do it in defending as well. You can just, if they're pushing, use your wind wall, stop them. They can't hit the turret, just clear the wave. It's so versatile, and it's just great for the team. Like here, look, like no one would ever think of walking around the team like that. I just wind wall so they can't do anything. Like, it is a great spell. Bear in mind, you do want to bear this in mind, how your ultimate is a very, very low cooldown at late game. So don't be scared to, you know, go in a 1v1 late game and think, oh god, you know, I don't have my ultimate. He does, and stuff like that. Your ultimate, I'm pretty sure, is like a 25-second cooldown or something like that at level 18. It's ridiculous. You can use it twice in a team fight, I would say. Like, there's times where I've used it twice in a team fight, and it's basically just won us the fight because it's such a low cooldown. And people just like, are you serious? You used it at the beginning of the fight, and then you use it at the end of the fight. How low of a cooldown is it? But yeah, so right now, as you can see, I've got my 3 kind of main items on Yasuo. The Blade of the Rune King, Static Shiv, and IE. So I'm just going to split push, while the rest of my team is team fighting. As you know, but I was like, really, I want to split push because enough in the end. So because I was destroying Teemo, but in this game, it depends as your last item, because there's five damage items you want to go, which are, or not 5, but including boots. You go boots, Berserker's Greaves, Static Shiv, Blade of the Rune King, IE, and this is what I'm talking about, 1v1 in Teemo. And I forgot to use my Blade active, so I could have destroyed him, but IE, Last Whisper, Static Shiv, and Blade of the Rune King, and Berserker's Greaves. And depending on what the opponent's team has got, I would go Guardian Angel or Banshee's Veil, and you can go Randuin's if they have like hard AD. They're an all AD team, but usually if they have a bit of both, it really depends. It depends if their APs are just super strong and carrying, then go Banshee's Veil, and that's kind of what the case was here. Lux and Teemo were very strong, and I was split pushing against Teemo, so I went Banshee's Veil. But again, like, look how much that Q just did to Teemo, so I'm like, alright, I'll just dive in. Look at that, just completely destroyed him. Didn't need Blade of the Rune King again, I'm on full health. But Vayne did no damage. Wukong had kills, but honestly, I wasn't scared of him. Like, I could 1v1 him so easily. And this is what I mean about split pushing. You take targets so quickly, people are scared to come to you. And look at this, like, I just completely destroyed that Lux just by ulting her. There's so many things you can do that just turn around fights as Yasuo, and great for sieging up, as I said, with the wind wall. Like, look here, I don't even die for it as well. There's so many times where this is a time where I said, where they think they've got you, and you just kite them around and win and Q them. I was just running back Q, kiting them around, got my stack, 3-man ulti, get a double kill, and just completely turn the fight around. That's just the beauty of Yasuo. And when you get this fed 19-7-3 with 300 minions, there's no one that can stop you in the game. No one. I mean, if I'm thinking about another assassin, Yasuo would probably win. Just because it's sort of whoever uses their ulti first. If Yasuo ultis first, then Zed will probably win. But if Zed ultis and Yasuo's got a thing of his third charge of his Q, Zed's got no chance. He'll just knock him up ulti, and by that time, and there's another kill on Simo. By all that, I was the guy who just won us the game. I split pushed all the way to their inhib, and yeah, it was a very fun game, to be honest. They were getting pretty annoyed. They were like, wow, nice feed on Yasuo and Tristana, because when you get Tristana and Yasuo this fed, there's not really much you can do. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll have another guide out next week, maybe, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.